So I've asked you to do a project over a thematic statement. How does one do that per se? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to do a theme project where you explore the thematic statement of a piece of media. All right, specifically going to be talking about it in regards to The Crucible by Arthur Miller. So let us just jump right in and walk through our PowerPoint. Now, you gotta understand the difference between thematic statements and topics. So a theme is a lesson that the reader learns from a piece of media. It says text, but it can be really any piece of media. It is a universal truth always written as a statement. Life decisions can be hard. Life has many roads. Regret can stifle life. And courage can be seen in unlikely people. Those are themes. Those are actual legitimate themes. Now, in the past, your teachers have might have told you that a theme or is something like this, one or two broad words. Those are not themes, those are topics. But your theme grows out of those topics. Those topics, those ideas are the seeds that will become the theme. So choices, regret, journeys, adventure, love, happiness, empathy, isolation, courage, those are all great topics. Those are great ideas, but they're not themes. Themes is what the work says about the idea. And as you can see, you can like regret can stifle life. The seed of that original comment is regret. Now, this isn't to say that topics are bad. You need them to create your thematic statements. And so if we were face to face in class, I would say, let us list some of the topics or ideas that that the thing we just read covers. And so we just got in reading The Crucible. So like some of these would be like guilt or reputation, paranoia, superstition, power. Gender is an idea that's kind of explored in this place. So same as socioeconomic status. Race is kind of explored, but it's not like you don't have as much to work with. Yeah, they're all white and they do treat the one black character very poorly, but I don't know if you have enough to pull off the entire project around that if you want. Religion, of course, is obviously one that is discussed. Justice, revenge, and then duty, responsibility. Those are all ideas that the Crucible explores. So if I didn't list one that you think, that still counts. Like it's just an idea that a work is exploring. So if I didn't list one that you want to try, go ahead and try it. Like it's perfectly fine. Those are just some of the ones that came off the top of my head 2 minutes before I started recording this. Now, let's turn those topics or ideas into thematic statements. You simply insert the topic/idea into the following phrase and complete the sentence. The author believed that blank. How you complete that sentence is essentially the thematic statement. Since our author is Arthur Miller, we can ask, based on reading The Crucible, Arthur Miller believes that guilt is blah, 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 blah. Or Arthur Miller believes that reputation is blah, blah, blah. Believes that paranoia is blah, blah, blah. Believes that superstition is blah, blah, blah. Believes that power is blah, blah, blah. And so on and so on and so on. That's the beautiful thing about books. That's why we like. That's personally one of the reasons why I love reading, is that you don't actually like Arthur Miller passed away. And so we cannot actually talk to Arthur Miller. But through his work, we're kind of having a conversation with him and we can kind of see what he has to say. And he's become kind of immortal in that particular way, but we can interact with this and get an idea of what this man believes based on his work. All right, and you can do that with any book, every single book. Like you're participating in this grand conversation about a variety of topics. Now, warning: you need to make sure that your thematic statement isn't vague. So, like, and blank is important, blank is good, blank is bad. So you could say like family is important. That's not a good thing. You could say that religion is good. That's not a good theme. You could say that racism is bad. It's not a good theme. Complexity is key. Complexity is key. If you have a vague thematic statement that answer the question why about it. Why is family important? Why is religion good? Why is racism bad? That why is the thematic statement. So don't be vague. You need to be specific. Now, of course, that thematic statement will be turned into your thesis statement. A thesis statement clearly states the topic of the composition. Not only will it help focus the main point of the essay by stating what you will be proving in your paper, but it gives the reader an exact understanding of what will be covered. Now, this is your own unique perspective, your own thoughts, not the internet sites. I don't care about what the internet has to say. I'm not looking for the one right answer, because there is no one right answer to this. There's a variety of answers. What I'm looking at and what I'm wanting is how you defend, how you support, how you back up that answer. If you go online and just copy and paste something from online, you're going to get a 0. And it does not show that you thought, it does not show me you're learning. I will give you more of the benefit of the doubt. I will give you a better grade, and I will appreciate you more, and all kinds of stuff if you just tell me what you think. That's all I want. I want to see inside your head. I want to hear your thoughts, not someone else's. All right. Now, you will, of course, be doing a literary thesis statement, which is a little bit different than a regular thesis statement, because this thing needs to include the author's name and the title of the work. Our author is Arthur Miller, and the title of our work is The Crucible. There's an important thing I need to real fast talk about, is that I know when we did Langston Hughes, we did it in quotation marks because it was a smaller section of a bigger piece. But for the Crucible here, you're going to need to italicize it. You're going to italicize it, or you need to underline it. Now, I would prefer you italicize it because you have the ability to italicize it, and it does look nicer format-wise. But the underline option is like if you're writing it out. But you need to italicize the title because we are covering the entire thing. So you need to include the author's name and the title of the work. Here are some examples of literary thesis statements, and along with your thematic statement, by the way, your theme that you're exploring. In a separate piece, John Knowles portrays jealousy as an element of friendship. In the novel, A Separate Piece, John Knowles illustrates how a person creates his or her own piece. In A Separate Piece by John Knowles, illustrates the destructive results caused by distrust. So that is just some examples of what thesis statements would look like. You just need to make sure you include the title of the work and the author's name. This is just to show you is you don't always have to lead with the author/title name. You can put it at the end. It just depends on how the flow of your introduction is going. In To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee uses character actions to show that courage can be seen in unlikely people. Character actions show that courage can be found in unlikely people in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. So let's actually get down to brass tacks of how to write this, because you're basically going to need to write a little bit of a script for each of these. So instead of thinking of it in a 5-paragraph essay type of sense, think of it in parts, because once you get into higher levels of English, and if you plan on going to college, you need to 5 paragraphs is not going to work for you, but chunks, sections will. So this introductory section needs to look like this. You'll start off discussing the idea central to your thematic statement in general. You'll include relevant background information on settings, specific characters, plot summary, etc. And the last sentence of this paragraph should be your thesis statement. Now, if you want to try something different, if you think that you have a good idea for an introduction, by all means, try it out. This is just here for if you want a solid base hit type of introduction, or if you're one of those people there's no way I could do this. This is impossible. These are the steps you can follow that would help you do this. And here's an example of these 3 steps being used. So we start off with talking about the idea in general. And so the idea in general here is empathy. Empathy is a virtue that not all people have. To be able to understand other people's feelings, motives, or situations takes a lot of effort since we live in such a judgmental society. That's just talking about empathy in general. Now we're going to include relevant background info on setting and specific characters. And note, we're not going to spend forever on this. It's only going to be 1 sentence long. Anne Frank, who was a young Jewish girl, went into hiding for 3 years trying to escape being killed by the Nazis during World War II. 1 sentence summary of the entire book. It doesn't spoil anything. It doesn't go super in depth. It doesn't talk about when the Nazis come in and try to find them. It doesn't talk about when the Nazis do find them. Spoiler alert. It doesn't talk about Anne thinking snotty things about certain of her people that she's in hiding with. It says none of that. It just says, here's it, in 1 sentence, here's what the book is. So it doesn't go super in depth. It just gives you kind of what you need to know in a sentence. Then we have a really good transition here to the thesis statement. under dire circumstances and showed empathy in her many dire entries. And Frank, the diary of a young girl, shows that empathy can exist in horrific conditions. There we go. The next thing you'll be doing is your body. And I would often think of my body having 3 parts to it. Now, once again, these can be paragraphs, but once you get into longer pieces, your parts might need to be more than just a paragraph. So these right here would be the assertions or the reasons that they're using to support their thesis. Each of these would be the topic sentence of the body paragraph. A topic sentence is the very first sentence of a body paragraph that tells you what the entire paragraph is going to be about. So war brings out the best and worst in people. That'll be an entire paragraph. Empathy can be a struggle for teenagers. That will be an entire paragraph. Understanding yourself is important for understanding others. That will be an entire paragraph. You'll then use evidence from the text and an explanation of the evidence from the text to help develop the essay. So war brings out the best and worst in people. They're going to give an example from the text of war bringing out the best and worst in people, and then explain how that example shows war bringing out the best or the worst in somebody. You have to do the explanation. The reader is dumb. You need to consider the reader dumb. You need to explain it out. You need to explain it for them. You need to establish that warrant. Sometimes you don't have to, but at the level of writing most of you are at, you need to establish the warrant. You need to explain how your evidence connects to your claim, how your evidence connects to your topic sentence, how your evidence connects to what you're trying to talk about. You need to explain why your evidence is relevant. All right, the next thing we're going to be looking at, this is an outline. An outline is a different way you can do pre-writing. It's similar to like the Foursquare, except it is straight up and down, so the 4 boxes. I like doing the Foursquare myself, but this also is really good because it gives you more freedom to have more to it than just the 4 boxes. In colleges, they'll often ask you to have an outline. All this is just a plan for what you're going to talk about, your plan for the essay. And so it kind of has all the information that they're going to plan to write. But the reason why we're really looking at this is the conclusion. You're going to wrap up your essay by showing your theme in today's society. That is the biggest key. If you only do one thing, in your conclusion, it needs to be that. That's the thing that separates poor writers from good writers, is that they show in their conclusion, they help wrap everything up in a nice, tidy package, and they show why what they wrote was relevant. So wrap up your essay by showing your theme in today's society. If you can just do that, you'll be good. Now, if you want to have these extra things at the end, help jazz it up a little bit, help add for length, and also help with making it seem a little bit nicer. But if you could just do that, then that will be good. You could also summarize the main points of your body paragraph and restate your thesis in a slightly different way. Here's an example. First, we're going to restate the thesis. Courage is a quality that is evident in many characters in To Kill a Mockingbird. Restated thesis, slightly differently. Now we're going to summarize the main points. Whether it comes from an unlikely character like Boo Radley or more traditional protagonists like Atticus, courage is a vital part of what drives them. There we go, we summarize it. Now we're going to show why it's relevant to today's society. This quality is not just important in the famous novel written in the 1950s, but is seen every day in the world today. The soldiers who have fought for our country through all the wars in history have shown a great amount of courage. They choose to put their lives in danger for Americans who are total strangers to them. Courage is within everybody, and it can appear at the most unlikely time. Boom, shakalaka-laka. There you go. That's how to write this. I also included in the initial post, and I will include it in this post, a couple example essays, or not essays. These are just prompts that shows you the introduction and the body. I don't include, or the introduction and the conclusion. I don't include the body because I figured like y'all would understand the body. Y'all just didn't see what I did there because I had the wrong PDF pulled up. There we go. Introduction and the conclusion. I don't include the body because I figured those are actually surprisingly the easier paragraphs to write, but I've been quickly proven wrong. So I might need to actually finish this flush out this Wally essay. But so here's how I'm going to do it. All right. Here's the introduction. Start off talking about the idea of consumerism, and then I'm going to work my way to my thesis. Cha-ching, that is the sound that accompanies a cash drawer opening. There's something addicting about that sound. There's something euphoric about it. Enjoying that sound is just what a good consumer should embrace. But does that sound bring more harm than good? Could our insatiable need to spend, consume, throw away, and repeat contribute to our inevitable demise? And Wally, Pixar Entertainment demonstrates how unchecked consumerism can lead to the downfall of society. Bow. There's my thesis. So that's the idea that I would explore. And then each of these would be the topic sentences. I'd have a body paragraph dedicated to the trash generated by consumerism. I'd have a body paragraph dedicated to convenience leading to ignorance. I'd have a body paragraph dedicated to technology dependency making us less human. Now, here's my conclusion. I'm going to restate my thesis, summarize my main points, and make a final comment. Consumerism can lead us all to our ultimate demise. Whether it's the trash that consumerism generates or technology making us lazy and stupid, if we're not careful, we lie to ourselves about living in a perfect world. It's not too late. Warning tales like Wally allow us to see how our wasteful ways can lead us to our doom. The future can be a marvelous place. We just need to be careful that innovation improves our lives and world instead of diminishing one or the other. Our society and planet both need to live in harmony in order for us to achieve true happiness. So that's my Wally example. I also did one for Romeo and Juliet. Let's look at that. So here's how I'm going to start this off. I started off by talking about how Star Wars talks about anger, and then I go to Romeo and Juliet. In the epic Star Wars saga, many characters have to grapple with a treacherous part of their psyche, the dark side. The dark side feeds off emotions such as jealousy, fear, and most importantly, anger. While it seems like it'd be easy to resist its temptations, characters still fall victim to it. Furthermore, if characters indulge in this temptation far too often, it will lead to their ultimate demise. This enveloping anger does not only affect the Star Wars universe, but also Verona, Italy, where William Shakespeare lays our scene. In The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, William Shakespeare reveals that when one gives into their anger, disastrous outcomes will follow. Then we have my body paragraphs, which I'll talk about Tybalt's actions and how that led to his demise, Mercutio's actions and how that led to his demise, and Romeo's actions and how that led to his demise. And then my conclusion, restate thesis, summarize main points, make a final comment. When we give into our anger, it can ruin our lives. Tybalt and Mercutio indulging in their anger led to both their deaths. Romeo giving into his led to him being banished from home and ruining his blossoming young marriage to Juliet. Luckily for us, most of our flare-ups of anger will only cause us to suffer minor repercussions. But if those flare-ups continue to occur, the repercussions will only get worse. Just remember to keep in mind the famous words of Ice Cube the next time you get angry. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. There we go. That's all I got for you for how to do this. In class today, we're going to actually do the activity where we list out the words and whatnot and turn them into thematic statements. I will have a pre-writing activity due on Monday, and I'll have that signed probably tomorrow. That's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please email me, pdavidson@portugal.k12.mo.us. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.